My name is Sharon Noble, and I'm from Victoria, British Columbia. I appreciate the opportunity to present my concerns and personal experiences with Health Canada and Safety Code 6. Even though I'm speaking for myself, I represent hundreds of thousands of people in British Columbia who would like to be able to speak to the panel if the panel had been able to come to British Columbia as the live panel is able to. As the wireless technology has progressed with new devices resulting in increasing levels of exposure in every home, school, and business, Safety Code 6 has remained virtually unchanged since its inception in 1979. Even as more scientific studies have shown health and biological effects from prolonged exposure to levels of radiation far below Safety Code 6 standards, Safety Code 6 has remained the same. And even though earlier review panels have acknowledged and cautioned about dangerous effects such as blood-brain barrier leakage and DNA damage at these lower levels, Safety Code 6 has remained the same. Health Canada continues to tell people that they should not worry because Safety Code 6 protects them. But this is not true. There are two important points that I would like you to think about as you review the evidence. One, Safety Code 6 is based on ICNIRP's guideline that was prepared by and for the industry to protect workers from thermal effects. The radiation about which we're speaking is non-thermal. The devices that we are using and that are in our homes emit non-thermal radiation. Two, as stated in the preface of Safety Code 6 itself, it says it was designed to protect and applies workers at and to federally regulated sites, not children or our homes. My home is not a federally regulated site, and my grandchild is not a worker at a site. But the public and the provincial health authorities are not told any of these things. And Safety Code 6 is used by Health Canada to make people believe they are being protected, when the opposite is true. Safety Code 6 is not a law, but it is something Health Canada depends on to deflect the public's concerns. Health Canada is a touchstone used by provincial health authorities. Even though Safety Code 6 says that provincial authorities can establish their own guidelines, they don't. Most don't have the expertise nor the will, and instead they use Safety Code 6 to hide behind it so that they don't have to do what they're supposed to the public. Provincial health authorities, such as Dr. Perry Kendall in British Columbia, should be able to depend on Health Canada's reassurances, but they can't because Safety Code 6 is not protective of the general public, and it does not apply to non-thermal radiation. For the last 15 to 20 years, proliferation of these wireless devices has been increasing to the point where today there are transmitters and antennae everywhere, in every neighborhood, on top of schools, apartment buildings, and now even on our homes. We're living with levels of radiation billions of times higher than those that existed throughout evolution. In my own neighborhood, thanks to the combination of lax Industry Canada standards and ineffectual Safety Code 6, Rogers was allowed to erect 2 large towers, which now house 3 FM transmitters with 140,000 watts of power that shoot as far as 50 miles, and 46 cell transmitters, all within 30 meters of homes. I look out my kitchen window to them. Even as my neighbors suffer thyroid cancers, prostate cancers, breast cancers, neurological problems, and multi-marriages, just to name a few. When they asked to have the towers removed, they were told there was no evidence of harm because Safety Code 6 protects them. They're not told that this non-thermal radiation is something different than what Safety Code 6 protects them from. In schools, strong Wi-Fi modems are being put in every classroom, from kindergarten through high school. When children begin to suffer constant nosebleeds and migraines, sleep disorders, behavioral problems, and even cardiac problems like tachycardia, arrhythmia, and cardiac arrests. Yes, children are having cardiac arrests. The Wi-Fi modems remain because of Safety Code 6. Parents and teachers are not told that Safety Code 6 does not apply to them or protect the children. Schools and classrooms and our children are not workers at federally regulated sites. Now wireless smart meters are being put on every home and business throughout British Columbia and throughout Canada. We are being exposed even in our homes to RF radiation at levels that studies show cause harm. And why is this? Because our provincial medical officer has been told by Health Canada that Safety Code 6 is protecting us, that there is no concern. But this is not true. I am getting hundreds of letters every week from people with health conditions that developed after smart meters were put on their homes, or ones that were exacerbated by RF and EMF being admitted. I can only tell them there's nothing we can do because Safety Code 6 is there. The public is not being told the truth, I believe, because of the power of the telecommunications industry, which is pervasive at all levels of government. In 2008, my husband and I submitted a petition to the Auditor General with 25 pages of evidence charging bias and conflict of interest. No one denied these. I was told it just didn't matter. For decades, the industry has been influencing major agencies and panels, such as ICNIRP, the World Health Organization, IARC, and even the Royal Panel. And it has been only now that the public is becoming more educated that some people have been confronted with these biases. For example, in 2000, Dr. Anders Album, who had been a strong force on many panels, was outed as having ties with the wireless industry. Transparent. I cannot ask on what basis members were selected to this panel or to know what studies are going to be reviewed.
I have to interrupt you. I'm sorry. You should address your remarks to Safety Code 6 and not the membership of the panel. That was evident at the outset of this meeting.
The process is part of this panel. It is an important process, sir, that we know that the studies that are going to be reviewed are not going to be provided to the public. We are told this. I have a right to know what is being reviewed by the panel.
I'm sorry, that is just not correct. And ad hominem remarks towards the panel are not acceptable.
Sir.
I'm sorry. You should address yourself to Safety Code 6 only.
I have a right to know that the people who are going to be reviewing the RF exposure to which my children and my grandchildren will be exposed to are people who are looking out for us. Health Canada uses, and prior royal panels have used, evidence compiled by the wireless industry.
I'm sorry, Ms. Noble, that is just not acceptable. You'll have to wait until the report comes out to exercise those objections. At the moment, the panel is listening to comments from the public about Safety Code 6.
I would ask then, sir, that I be allowed to ask precautionary principle apply because our children are at stake here, the health of our children. Safety Code 6, as currently designed, is not protective of the general public. It is protective of workers at federally regulated sites from thermal radiation. Our homes are not federally regulated sites. What is needed is a new guideline, one based on biological effects of non-thermal radiation, one developed free of industry influence, and one that will be truly protective of Canadians. And that's what I ask, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation.